Most people know that Jesus turned water into wine. It is one of the most famous miracles in the Bible. But here's the thing. Most people hear that story and just move on, without asking the obvious question. Why this miracle first? If Jesus could have started with anything, why begin at a wedding? Why wine? Why does such a quiet, ordinary moment matter so much in the Gospel of John? Because this was not just a nice thing Jesus did. This was a sign. And signs point to something. So today, we are going to slow down and look at what this first miracle was really showing us about who Jesus is. The story is in John chapter 2. Jesus is at a wedding in Cana. At some point during the party, the wine runs out. Mary notices and tells Jesus. He tells the servants to fill 6 big stone jars with water. They do. And when the master of the feast tastes it, it has become wine. Not just okay wine either, the best wine anyone had tasted all night. John calls this the first sign through which Jesus revealed his glory. That word is important, sign. John is not just telling us what happened, he is telling us to look deeper at what it means. So here are 6 things this moment reveals about Jesus. The first one is simple, but easy to miss. Jesus cares about ordinary moments. Think about where this happens. It is not a battlefield. It is not a disaster. There is no crowd asking for a miracle. It is just a wedding, a party. And the problem is not even that serious. The wine ran out. But in that culture, that was embarrassing. Running out of wine at a wedding was a big deal socially. Someone in that room was quietly stressed about it. Jesus could have started his ministry with something huge and dramatic. Instead, his first sign happens in a moment that most people would consider small and unimportant. That tells us something. Jesus is not only around for the big moments, he also pays attention to the small, awkward, everyday stuff. The things that feel too minor to even bring to God. He sees those too. The second thing, Jesus reveals himself quietly, not always with spectacle. This miracle does not happen on a stage. There is no big announcement, no crowd watching. The servants fill the jars. The water becomes wine. The master of the feast is surprised. But most people at the party do not even know what just happened. John tells us the disciples saw it and believed. But it was not a show for everyone. It was quiet, almost hidden. We often think that if God is really doing something, it should be obvious, big, impossible to miss. But this moment says something different. Jesus reveals himself with purpose, not with performance. His signs are meant to lead people deeper, not just to impress them. So if you have been waiting for some dramatic moment before you take Jesus seriously, it might be worth asking whether he is already working in ways that are just quieter than you expected. Third, Jesus is already moving toward a greater mission. Right in the middle of this wedding scene, Jesus says something that feels out of place. When Mary tells him the wine has run out, he says, "My hour has not yet come." That is a weird response. Everyone around him is thinking about wine, but Jesus is already thinking about something much bigger. In the Gospel of John, the phrase, "my hour," keeps coming back, and it always points to the same thing, the cross, his death and resurrection, the full reason he came. So even here, at a party, Jesus is already carrying the weight of what is ahead. This miracle is not just about solving a problem. It is a small window into a much bigger story. Fourth, Jesus brings abundance, not the bare minimum. Look at how much Jesus actually provides here. 6 stone jars, each one holding between 20 and 30 gallons. That is not a small top-up to get the party through the night. That is a huge amount of wine. He did not give just enough to avoid embarrassment. He gave way more than what was needed. That is easy to skip over if you read too fast, but the amount matters. Jesus is showing us that God is generous, not stingy, not giving the bare minimum. When he provides, he really provides. A lot of people picture God as someone who gives out just enough to get by. This miracle says something completely different. It shows a Savior who gives with open hands. Fifth, Jesus brings something better than the world offers. Near the end of the story, the master of the feast says something almost by accident, but it is one of the most interesting lines in the whole story. He calls the bridegroom over and says, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and later the cheaper stuff, but you saved the best wine for now." He is just talking about the party, but the detail matters. In life, things usually start well and then get worse over time. The best comes first, and then it fades. That is just how a lot of things go. But with Jesus, it is the opposite. The better thing arrives with him. This is not only about wine. It is a picture of what Jesus offers compared to everything else people chase after. Popularity, success, fitting in, feeling good. These things promise a lot, but usually let you down over time. What Jesus brings is different. It does not run out. It does not fade. It is actually better than everything else people are looking for. Sixth, Jesus points to a greater wedding still to come, and this one connects everything together. Go back to the setting. Jesus' first sign happens at a wedding. Weddings carry something with them: joy, celebration, two people becoming one, a new beginning. And all through the Bible, this picture of a wedding is used to describe something God is moving the whole story toward. A final moment where everything is restored, where God and his people are fully together again. The book of Revelation even calls it the marriage supper of the Lamb. So when Jesus shows up at a wedding and fills it with joy and abundance, he is not only helping out at one party in a small town, he is giving us a preview, a glimpse of where everything is heading. This is the kind of Savior he is. Not only someone who fixes problems in the moment, someone who is pulling all of history towards something full, joyful, and lasting. When you put all 6 of these together, the story starts to feel completely different. It is not just a miracle about water turning into wine. It becomes a picture of Jesus, a Savior who steps into ordinary life, reveals himself quietly and with purpose, carries the weight of his mission even at a party, gives with real generosity, offers something far better than what the world can offer, and points us toward a joy that never runs dry. The miracle itself may seem small compared to what comes later, but what it is saying is enormous, deeply personal, full of hope. And maybe that is why this story matters so much. Because it does not only show us what Jesus can do, it shows us what kind of Savior he is. So here is something worth sitting with. Have you ever read a Bible story that felt familiar, and then suddenly realized it was saying far more than you ever noticed at first? This might be one of those stories. It is not only showing what Jesus can do, it is showing what kind of Savior he is. If this helped you see that story in a new way, subscribe. We make videos like this to help you read the Bible and actually understand what is there. And drop a comment telling us which of these 6 things stood out to you the most.